Last time we did operators, arithmetic, logical. I believe we did print functions. Yes. And in Maxima, if we want to print, we have to use quotes, double quotes, can't use single quotes, and that can't. Today, we will continue with a bit of string operations in Maxima, but prior to that, I want to get into block functions and writing a lambda function in Maxima. So, one of the things that I've mentioned about Maxima is that Maxima is a list processing language. So is R in a way. If you want to execute multiple statements, you can just use open paren, close paren. Let's say A is 2, comma, B 3, C 4. What would happen if I put dollar sign? We won't see the output. Otherwise, we will. So, and you will see the last output is printed to the console. However, it did evaluate the values of A, B, and C. So A is 2, B is 3, of course, C is 4. Good. One of the functions that we use is a block function, which is used to define a set of commands within the block function. So it is going to treat whatever you type in there as a block. So let's say I define S to be G plus C. And the next step is EV. You have to take a guess as to what EV is. What is EV? Evaluate. So what are we going to evaluate? We are going to evaluate the previous statement that we have. The previous statement here is S, colon G plus C. In other words, G plus C is assigned to S, but S as of now is an expression. It doesn't have any values stored. G is a variable, C is a variable, an expression variable. So I'm going to put %%, comma, going to assign C to be 2. Good. Before I add more, let me just enter. I get an error. What did I do? The error should tell you that something is off. What does it say? Okay, so where is it? After EV. So you can't simply have a parentheses because the moment you put a comma, Maxima is looking for another statement. So what did it do? I evaluated and it gave me G plus 4. Why?
C to be 4.
Now we define C to be 4 already, right? So whatever change that I make here doesn't affect the value of C, because C is defined globally. The value of C is 4. So in this case, it takes G plus C, passes in here, percent, which simply means it's going to take in the previous argument. So G plus C would go into percent, and it is evaluating G plus C. But it knows that C is 4, so C is getting replaced by 4. So we get G plus 4 as the answer. If I use the same block, but only this time, I use G, I end up getting 6. But so when I just define a new value, it changes the value for G, assigns G to be 2. By definition, within the block, I had S. But you can see the value of S did not change. The reason being, S is still G plus C. The only time it is going to affect the value of S is when we do the evaluate statement. So this is local, doesn't change the value of S, but it takes the expression, plugs into, uses the value of C, gives the value 6 as an output, but it doesn't change the definition of S. So whatever that's happening inside block stays. In what we're adding multiple block functions. For instance, there is A already. So I don't think we went over this. You can define a subscript notation using Y, open square bracket, close square bracket, put whatever letter or number you want, provided you don't have an array named Y. If you defined an array already, it is for Y, it is going to pull up that value for the array. So let's start with another block function. I'll do X plus Y. I'm going to evaluate the previous argument and going to give a value of 2. Good. Going to put in another block statement inside the block statement. Oops. Going to define A to be Y plus M, followed by another evaluate statement. I'm going to define a list. I'm going to define Y to be 5 and M to be 2. And it is always good practice if you develop some sort of structure in terms of typing block statements. You can see I've indented things accordingly so that I know that that evaluate statement belongs to that block, that evaluate statement belongs to that block. end up getting x plus 7. They say, well, what is happening? X plus y goes into the first evaluate statement. So x plus y is over here and y is 2. So we end up having x plus 2 executed. But x plus 2 gets saved to y because y is x plus y. So over here, I end up getting x plus 2 for a. And m is 2, so going to assign the value of 2 over here. But why did I get x plus 7 and not just 7?
What X is, or
Come again?
because you haven't told like what X is.
I didn't say what x is. So x plus y goes in here. Y is 2, so I have x plus 2. X plus 2 goes in there for y. So technically, you would have x plus 2 plus y plus m. So x remains as is. It takes in the value of 5 for y and m to be 2. So you end up getting x plus 7 for that entire block.